Do you have to buy the $3.99 and up seed packets, or are the 50-cent Dollar General seeds perfectly fine? I wanted to find out, so I planted my entire vegetable garden for the year with only Dollar General seeds. What were my results? Are they just as good as the expensive seeds? Are Dollar General seeds worth it? Let's find out together. These are Dollar General seeds from American Seed Company. So you get 2 packs for $1. And then there was some microgreens, 4 grams of microgreens for $1. I grabbed a few of those. So you get 50 cents a pack. And I opened this jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, and there's only 10 seeds in there. That's not a lot, but it is only 50 cents per pack. So if you're looking to start a garden, this is a good option. They had a lemon cucumber this year, a red cherry large fruited heirloom tomato, sunflowers, cantaloupe, a sweet pepper, cilantro, nasturtium, garden beans, sweet corn, zinnias, cosmos, basil, summer squash, radish, sunflowers, cilantro, and more zinnias. And I grabbed a pumpkin. I paid $13 for all of this, and I think this is definitely enough to start a garden. It doesn't have to be expensive. I'm not going to probably need 10 plants of pumpkins anyway, so this is a good option for a budget garden. And I just wanted to follow this through the season, through their growing season, and see how this turns out with Dollar General 50-cent packets of seeds. I'm going to sow my pumpkin and cantaloupe seeds right here. I'm going to sow my cantaloupe here and my pumpkin over there. This is just a random piece of dirt that's bare. And I thought it'd be cute vining down this hillside. I just dug up the dirt a little bit, added some compost. I'm going to drop the seeds in there about 1 inch deep. I'm just doing 5 in this little hill. We'll water them in. My pumpkins, I'm just gonna drop in this hole, 3 seeds like that, and water those in, and hopefully one of them germinates. I'm gonna start all these seeds in this little box that I have, and I'm gonna transplant them out. Just want to get them started in here. I'll do tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, squash, basil, cilantro, and the rest microgreens. Oops. So I'm just gonna make a little row for my tomatoes and just put the seed in there. Some of them are going outside. There we go. I'm just gonna cover up lightly. They need only about 1/4 inch of soil on top. So that's the tomato, cucumbers. These are 1/2 inch deep. Cover those up. The zucchini's next. I guess I'll do 5 just in case some of them don't germinate. The zucchini's 1 inch deep. All right, that looks good. So I have my tomato, cucumber, zucchini, pepper, basil, cilantro, and I have 1/3 of the box left for microgreens. I opened it up so you can see how many's in there. This is 4 grams for $1 from Dollar General, and depth to sow is only 1/8 of an inch. I'm just sprinkling right on top. I've never grown microgreens before. I'm guessing it can be pretty dense since you're just chopping down the sprouts. All right, that looks good enough for me. There's still a bunch left in there for a few more times. There we go. Now they're covered. And apparently these are gonna sprout in like 2 to 3 days, and then you can harvest them in 10 to 15 days. This is a pack of zinnias. How much seed you get in there? Not a lot, but I'll make a decent little row of zinnias. So I have this empty patch of dirt here in the middle of the lawn where things were laying. I thought I'd just sprinkle some flowers in here. Maybe we'll get a bouquet or 2 on the kitchen counter from this. And here's how much of the cosmos you get in a packet. Here's how much of the nasturtiums you get in a package. About 8 good ones. The 9th one doesn't look too good. 5 days later, and the microgreens are starting to sprout. They're the first ones out of all the things we planted in this little box to sprout. And in this flower patch, there is some activity 5 days later as well. We have zinnias right there. You can see some green spots right there. And cosmos are starting to pop up. Nothing with the nasturtiums yet, and nothing with the sunflowers. It's nice to see the zinnias are germinating. We have more things germinating. We have tomatoes are up. This row is tomatoes. Cucumbers are all up. Looks like there's 7 of them. 5 zucchinis right here. Still waiting on the peppers. There are some basil germinating. Still waiting on cilantro, and microgreens are still growing. I'm waiting for more of them to germinate before I eat those. And my flowers are all germinated except nasturtiums. They take a little bit longer, but you can see the row of cosmos right here in the middle, zinnias, more zinnias, and my 4 sunflowers have germinated. One of the cantaloupe has germinated. I think there was 5 seeds in there, so I'm still waiting for more. Then we have some more sunflowers. 3 pumpkins look like they all germinated, so that's exciting. It's been almost 2 weeks since my last update. Things have grown quite a bit. I had to leave for work for a week. Thankfully, there were rains that watered the seedlings, so they're all lived. Everything is doing great, and they need to be moved out of here. Long overdue. I wasn't here to harvest the microgreens at the correct stage, but that's okay. Looks like we're gonna have salad instead of microgreens. So I think that's a success. That was my fault for not being here to harvest them and replant, but that's fine. We'll eat these as a salad, and I'll replant and do the microgreens again in second succession. So that worked out really well. Look how pretty they are. These are all mustards. This is a cilantro. This is basil. And peppers finally germinated, but they're being hidden under the zucchini. But they're there. And the zucchini is doing really well. We have the cucumbers and all of our tomatoes. It needs to be moved out of here for sure and planted out into the garden. So hopefully I can do that today. Let's go check the flowers. Here is my little flower patch. So the nasturtiums did germinate. They're growing well. All the cosmos is doing well. The zinnias are doing well. The other zinnias and the sunflowers right there and right there are all growing. I do want to come in and thin some of these out since they're pretty close together. Let's go check on the pumpkins. Here are our 3 jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. They're doing well. I don't think I'm going to thin these. I'm just going to let them grow. They have room to spread all over down this little slope. I'll just let them be. We have some more sunflowers. Need to thin some of these out. It's Hale's Best Cantaloupe. They're doing well. I might thin some of these out. Maybe take out these 2 small ones. Finally, it's time for me to transplant these out of here. I'm going to start with the zucchini because they take up the most room. I'm just getting a little stick and trying to push it out a little bit while pulling gently. A little bit bigger than I'd like, but we were not here for a week, so. Okay. So that's one. Okay, so I have my 5 zucchini plants. Thinking about putting them on the corners here so the big leaves can have room out here to spread instead of taking room in the garden bed. Just gonna put that in there. Like that. And that's it. And then I'll probably water them in today. Tomorrow it's raining all day, so it's perfect to transplant things right before a good rain. Okay. Got my cucumbers out. There's 7 of them. Do have a bunch of tomatoes that I'll have to separate down there. All right, so I got my zucchini, cucumbers, tomatoes, and cilantro planted out in these 2 beds. They seemed so big in that little pot, but now they look so little in these beds. I did water them, even though it's supposed to rain tomorrow, just because they're so fragile and delicate. I wanted them to make it through the night. This definitely might be too crowded. I mean, I don't even know if all of them will survive, so it's always better to have some extras. So there's cilantro between the tomatoes. There's my cucumbers and the zucchini on the corners here. Everything looks so good. I'll keep you posted. Well, it's time to harvest my microgreens that have become salad greens. You can see my basil is doing good. My peppers are still really small. Everything else is gone. I transplanted it out to the garden. It seems to be doing well. The zucchinis are wilting a little bit in the afternoon heat, but they're still alive. So let's harvest this. I'm gonna still call this a success. It's just that I didn't harvest it in time, but I can still use it for my green smoothie today. Hot day. It's gonna be nice to have a nice cold green smoothie. Here's an update of my garden that I planted. Everything's growing so well. The tomatoes have grown significantly bigger, and so have the zucchinis behind that weed. And the cucumbers, look at that one. Everything's looking great. The tomatoes are having, I don't know if it's some kind of virus. You can see like the leaves right here are all curled up on the ones in this bed, so I don't know what that's about. But they are growing. Cilantro is growing right there. Look at that. This is all from seed. My zucchini looks amazing. They're putting on so much growth, and so are the cucumbers. Everything is looking great. Look at this one. So far everything, pretty much all my tomatoes lived, all my zucchinis lived. Only 1 cucumber didn't make it through the transplanting. So I have 6 cucumbers out of the 7, 5 out of 5 zucchinis, and all the tomatoes. I don't know how many there were, but I separated every single one of them, planted every single one of them, and they all made it. And all the cilantro. Still have basil up there in the pots that I started, and the peppers because they're still pretty small. So pretty much everything made it. That's super exciting. Update on my Dollar General vegetable garden that I started from seed this year. Check out the huge zucchini. As a matter of fact, we already have a baby zucchini. Look. It's so exciting. They're doing really well. And the cucumbers are doing really well here, and these 3 in the middle. Look at them. But the tomatoes are not doing so well. They have this curly leaf, which can be a virus or maybe herbicide damage. This is new compost that we got this year. We started these beds from scratch and brought in this compost, so I'm worried that there was maybe herbicides in it. Maybe it's just a virus. Maybe it's just temperature fluctuations that they didn't like. I really have no idea what it was, but everything is doing really well except the tomatoes. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. It's now June 23rd, and it's time for my first harvest from my garden. I don't know if you can see peeking through there. That's our first zucchini. And I want to get them while they're still this young. Perfect. See if there's any more. There's a little one growing in there. This one looks like it's just withering away, so I'll cut that one off. Doesn't need to be here. Cucumbers are growing up my little trellis that we put up out of an old cage. There's one in there, but still too little. There we go. This one's the perfect size. Okay, so there's two. I think that's gonna be it. I don't think this one has any. No, this one doesn't have any at all. I can definitely be using my cilantro. It's looking nice. My first harvest, I did transplant my basil out here. If you can see, just watered it a little bit. So I could definitely be harvesting that as well. I'm gonna have these for dinner tonight. It's a beautiful evening. It's getting dark, so the lighting is pretty bad, but it's time for my harvest. We've had a heat wave for the past week in the 90s, and there was a little, ooh, frog. Oh, there's a little thunderstorm that rolled through, and it sprinkled a little bit. Didn't really water well, but at least it cooled down the temperatures to 70, which is so nice. So I'm gonna harvest some zucchini. Let's see. There we go. So there's one. I think that's it for this one. There's some growing there. Cucumbers are vining up the trellis. Let's see if there's any here that are ready. Nope, just some small ones still. This one is ready. Try to get in there. Nice. Remember, the frog is in here. Yes, I see one. That one's ready, but how can I get in there? There we go. Perfect. So this is my second harvest of zucchini. Look at that. Perfect size. Things are growing well. The tomatoes are still curly. Not sure what's going on, but everything else is looking great. Okay, time for the next harvest. I've already harvested 6 zucchinis, so let's see what we have today, if there's any here. This one. There we go. So here's one little nice one. Oh yeah. This one is huge. There we go. We're gonna be going away for 2 days, so these are probably gonna get too big. I'll probably take this one and leave that one small. There's 2 in there that are ready. Okay. Those are perfect. So we have 5. Oh, I see a huge one. Oh, this is too big. Should have harvested this one yesterday. Oh yeah, this is really big. There's another one. And I will harvest this one as well. There's 3 from that one. It's a nice big one as well. On this side, the spider, go away. There we go. Update on the cucumbers, they're going crazy. I don't see any fruit yet, a lot of flower. I don't see any fruit. And there's that little one in there that's setting fruit. They're vining like crazy. Tomatoes are flowering. They're still curled. All of these are still curled. They're starting to flower to set fruit. So let's count how many zucchini we got today. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 over there. We got 10 zucchini today. That's awesome. I did want to harvest some basil. This is also the basil that we started from the Dollar General seed. I'm going to use some of it in a recipe. Look how good it looks. There's one. Here's another one. There's 2 more. I'm just going to cut it off between 2 nodes so it can branch and produce more. Here we go. Stick it in my water here. Perfect. That's gonna be enough for my recipe. All right, here's today's harvest. 10 zucchinis and lots of basil to use. I know basil is pretty expensive at the store all the time, so happy with that. And we topped it off so it'll branch, continue producing more leaves for us. That's a good harvest for sure. Dollar General seeds, pretty good so far. I want to give an update on the lemon cucumber. So we have one back in there. I don't really like these. They're hard to see in there because they're this color and you don't know when to pick them. If this is too big, if it's supposed to be smaller. I just like the regular cucumbers, but this is the only cucumber seed that they had at my Dollar General. I don't know, it's just hard and confusing to figure out when the right stage to pick these. Don't see that many fruits on the vine. Like this is all the cucumber vines right here, and there's a lot of flowers, but not many actual cucumbers. And then when there are some, you just don't know when to pick them, and I'm just not a fan of this variety. Tomatoes are still not doing much. Like they're flowering, but I don't think it opens all the way. So I don't know if the pollinators can get in there, because these have been flowering for a while and they're still not setting fruit. So I don't know if anything will come of them this year. And that's not the fault of the seeds. Everything grew great. I think it's something with my soil. It's a new garden bed this year. They're just not liking. They have been curled the entire time and they're not producing anything. So unfortunately, I'm going to label that as a fail this year, and that's my fault. It's not Dollar General seed's fault. I think that's going to be it for the tomatoes this year. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to some beautiful juicy tomatoes, but I don't see any forming anywhere. These have been flowering for so long and still nothing, so that's a bummer. Look, they bloomed and they're just all falling off. They're all withering away and falling off, not producing anything. The zucchini, on the other hand, are going crazy. I'm not even videoing the harvest because you're gonna get tired of me harvesting zucchini all the time. I pick them and then there's new ones in 3 or 4 days. So they're doing crazy. They're loving this soil. But the tomatoes are not doing so well. The basil is doing amazing. They're all nice and bushy. So the trick for a bushy basil is you have to keep picking it. In there you can see where I picked it and it branched out and makes this nice bushy plant. A little update on my flower patch. Looks like the zinnias are forming buds, and so is some of the cosmos. So that's coming along pretty well. This is just planted in my native soil, no amendments. I feel like if I did put in some compost, they would be doing a lot better, but they're doing okay. The nasturtiums kind of withered and died. Sunflowers are staying pretty small. Just needed to probably amend the soil and add compost. So these sunflowers planted separately right here, and this one is getting ready to bloom. It's opening up, so that's super exciting. These are all have blooms on them. Here's my Hale's Best cantaloupe. Oh, spider. It's vining, producing flowers, but I don't see any fruit setting yet. We'll give it some more time. Here's my pumpkins. They're also vining, lots of flowers, but no fruit set that I see yet. I'm hopeful it'll still produce a fruit or two. That'd be exciting. I love pumpkins. I did want to cut into this lemon cucumber just so you guys can see what it looks like inside. Looks like a regular cucumber. Let's give it a taste test. It tastes like a regular cucumber as well. I don't know, I feel like regular ones are a little bit more juicy than these maybe. We had our first frost of the season last night, and you can see the zinnias were killed. Cosmos was killed. These were pure white daisy looking flowers. Now they're all dead. The basil was completely killed and turning to mush. More zinnias, but I wanted to show you the difference putting up a frost cloth made. I think a good example would be the zinnias. So right here is a bed that I covered with that frost cloth. And these zinnias survived. There's still color on them, they're still green. And these zinnias were out in the open, no frost cloth, and you can see they're blackened, they're dead. They've been killed by the frost. So frost cloth helped. I had these tomatoes underneath the frost cloth. The leaves that were touching the frost cloth did get damaged, but everything else is still pretty green. The peppers, I didn't cover really well. I left this end open and just covered the top. That pepper is still green. This one has some damage, but it's still green. And this one has some damage, but just wanted to share how the frost cloth works and made a difference. For first frost, we're gonna have a few nights in the 30s. Then it's gonna go back up into the 40s. So I just wanted to put up a frost cloth for some things to get it through another week. Unfortunately, my tomatoes were a complete fail. They didn't produce almost anything this season. I blame the soil. I actually think it was too nutritious from the compost. I don't think it was from pesticides in the compost because my zucchini thrived and they would have been damaged if it was from pesticides. My zucchini was super productive. My first harvest was June 23rd and they kept pumping out zucchinis for a solid 2 months at least. We ate zucchini all summer and couldn't keep up. I gave some away to neighbors and family. I could plant a few less plants for it to be the perfect amount for us. We must have gotten hundreds of zucchini. At the beginning of the season, I didn't really like the lemon cucumber. The color of it made it hard to know when it was ripe. They were slow to start, but once they did get going, they kept on pumping out the little round cucumbers, and by the end of the season, I grew to love them. I did get one pumpkin and I was happy about that. We ate the flesh and dried the seeds, so I have more pumpkin seeds for next year's garden. I did get some sunflower seeds off the mammoth sunflowers. I saved some seed for next year and let the birds have the rest. They really enjoyed those. I got tons of basil. It was super productive all season as long as I kept on cutting it. I could definitely plant a lot less as it was too much for us. I did save the basil seed for next year as well. The zinnias were stunning. I enjoyed having them in the garden, and so did the butterflies. I also saved seed from those for next year. So are the Dollar General seeds worth it? I found out that they were 100% worth it. For 50 cents a packet, you could get hundreds of zucchinis and cucumbers, tomatoes if you don't mess them up, and zinnias. Not only that, but you could save the seed from the produce for next year, and that 50 cents could become a whole lifetime supply of zucchini. You definitely don't need to be spending $3.99 for seeds. The 50-cent packets are perfectly good enough, and the joy they brought for me was priceless. If you enjoyed watching my experiment, please do subscribe. I'm always up to something in the garden. I hope you get to plant your own vegetable and flower patch this summer, because at 50 cents a pack, it's a no-brainer and there's nothing to lose.